Hello everyone. I know it's been a while, but I've been quite busy. But while I've been in between appointments and stuff, I've been making some clusters. So I figured to show you what I've been making. Again, they're just clusters I'm having a bit of fun with. But no, I've been busy with appointments, end of the year conferences, all that jazz. Which sometimes is a good thing, but at other times it's just gets in the way of life. So, me and the kids have been, again, pretty busy. So, I figured while I had a chance, I probably should make a quick video. Kids are at school. I'm having lots of fun at school, which is a good thing. My youngest on her field trip. So, a bunch of clusters. These will probably be a part of, I don't know if I'm going to put them in my pile or what I'm doing with them yet. All I know is that's what I made. Now, I have a bunch of old envelopes and some fabric. I figured we could make some cute little covers quick while I have time. So, again, it isn't much, but it's something. I'll be getting to a butterfly journal soon enough this week, and I'm excited about that. But again, I just figure pop on, do some crafting this week, which I haven't done at all. This is supposedly fabric glue. We'll see if it works. For what we do. Again, I'm just having a bit of play time today and thought, ooh, I should just hop on while I'm playing rather than not. And I did make it, I'm just set the envelope down on it, and that's how it goes sometimes. Got them scissors. My handy dandy scissors here. I am not trying to be perfect with this. I just wanna, again, get it on here. Leave an edge at this point just because I can. Mail's going past, if you're wondering what that noise is all about. That's what it is. The mail. And then I can use the rest of this for quilting, if I'd like. But also, I wanted to show you too. So, this one is a little bit more down to size. So I'm just gonna snip it where I think it needs to be snipped. I think this may be enough for another cover. Yes, it is. So this is going to get put back away for the innards of covers. And I'm just going to fold this where I want it, so it may be a little easier to cut it down where I want it cut down. I know there's easier ways. I should have just grabbed my 14 by 14 fabric, but I didn't. Just because it would have been way easier to cut down than this fabric. But that's okay. And then we have that piece left over. So, okay. Now with this piece, I'm going to try cutting some of this down just because it's so big. We don't need that much excess fabric. I'm okay with that being odd and everything else, because what I normally do when I am done making the cover of the journal is I will go off and take the time to cut it down to a better size, the fabric. So this is where, luckily I do that. I can leave a little bit extra. I can have the lines a little odd shaped. I know some people are like, she's cutting it all funky and everything else. It'll be okay, trust me. In the long run, it is not going to look like it currently does. But I was thinking about this because of how much of this is left. Over. This is probably where the fabric glue would probably come into play. That, and then we put this down. I think that would be cute. Crossed here. So yeah, I'm going to be sewing a little bit more, but that's okay. Again, I'm just putzing around with some of this stuff. See, it clumps just like our glue sticks, so I don't know how I feel about it, but determine what height I want it at and squish it down. I have no clue if this is what you're supposed to do with this type of fabric glue, because I've never actually seen fabric glue like this before in a stick. But I'm hoping I'm using it correctly. Those of you who are quilters are probably going, what is she doing? I apologize, but at the same time, would you rather me waste it? So this is where I probably am going to stick this where I want it. Again, and stick that where I want it. I'm probably going to hope to God this fabric glue just keeps the fabric together like Fabri-Tac would, because I don't want this at all to come apart, but if it does, I guess. And then once I have it exactly where I want it at, I'm going to start pinning it. Now, I know some people are like, what? Pin it? I like it pinned. I know not everybody likes their stuff pinned, but I do. I like keeping it all pinned together. And I've learned it just keeps it a little better put together than by now. I was wondering where my clips went, but I have no idea where they went. So, because this is what my idea was with my little plastic clips, but again, I don't know where in the pile beside me it went, and I don't really want to go off and dig. So, we're just going to pin it. And it's a little less glue being used than compared to if I had just glued it together. Again, this is my process. You don't have to have the same process. I just like using the materials I already have instead of trying to use multiple different types of materials and all that jazz. It just doesn't work for me. And I get this is a Christmas type theme, but you know what? I don't know when I'm going to make journal covers again, and I personally like to make sure I get, during the summertime, as many different types of journal covers made as possible instead of just random journal covers. Or I do try to do random journal covers, I should say, instead of non-random, because I know during the winter time I don't get to my sewing machine as much as I'd like to because I have kids. So it's just a matter of when I have the ability to, and when it's rainy outside during the summer, that's when I normally spend a bit more time on my journal covers. So this will be the front of the cover, and this is the inside of that cover. So we got one done. And I just take my glue stick and glue down as much as I can. This would make more than one cover too, but that's okay. I'd rather it make more than one cover rather than no covers. Yes, I'm doing the fold over technique. I admit it, I'm not a professional seamstress or anything else like that. And because I'm not, I feel like sometimes I'm like breaking some cardinal rule, and I know I'm really not, but it feels that way. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it feels like she's just breaking a rule by doing this, this, and this, and it's like, no, I'm really not. I'm just making covers. You know, I'm using the supplies in front of me instead of worrying about what I don't have. You know, the idea of woulda, shoulda, coulda, and everything, it's like, why? Just do it. Have some fun. If anything, that's what you should be doing, is having fun. And again, more than likely, these lines are going to be covered in the end. That's why I'm not necessarily so focused on that particular piece of this. I thought these flowers mixed in with those flowers. I wanted the green, but at the same time, I liked the pink mixed in with the green. And again, we'll just take this and wipe it across here. so we can make sure that we're covering the piece, but at the same time, we can cut off some of this edging here. All right, now I have, I think, a piece of lace that I think would look really cute just over top of this. I could be wrong, but let's see here. Where is that thick lace? Ha. So I have this lace here, and I was thinking, would that be cute? Just laying across here. So that's what we're gonna do. Except I think it goes the other way. But still, isn't that cute for a pocket? Again, I know this is something like Gail Augustinelli does and others, but at the same time, I've never added pockets to my journals before. So this is my first time. I'm like, well, how would I go about doing this? And so this is what I've come up with. Now, again, I understand if this may not be your particular way of doing it, and you may dislike the way I'm doing it actually, but at the same time, this is where I'm kind of just feeling for that edge a little bit. You know, I'd rather do me than not do me and then get mad and upset because the way I wanted it done wasn't the, you know, I'd rather make the mistake myself than not make any mistake, have it perfection, but at the same time not be happy with it because there is no mistakes. I like the mistakes on my stuff because it makes it unique. It makes it not like every other piece you see in a journal or for journals. And sometimes, you know, the fixing of the mistake makes it unique too. Like, that's why I'm okay with kind of adventuring with this instead of being like, oh no, I shouldn't do this just because everybody else hasn't done it. No, that ain't me. I know this. And I've always pinned my fabric to my envelopes. Again, that's something I've always liked to do. I don't feel the least bit sad about pinning it. I think it creates, you know, it keeps it all together, and in case, again, I don't get to go off and make it or get to it, you know, immediately after doing this, I don't have to worry about, oh no, it's going to be wrecked by the time I get to it because this moved or that moved. Pinning it makes it so there's no moving. And that's, you know, why I like to do it, because I don't always have the chance to sew it as soon as I'm able to pin it. Again, some of these pieces may not get done for another couple months or throughout the summer. So I'm okay with that. So there we go. Got that back part and the front. Although I think this one might be done a little quicker than the others because I have a journal that I'm working on currently with that. Okay, so this one is rather cut up or ripped up at the top. So I'm just gonna cut it down a bit. I don't think it's gonna make it too much of a difference. It's a little under 9 inches. It'll, again, 8 1/4 inches. I don't think that's too bad. I know this is a brand new yard of fabric, so I'm just trying to pull it out a little bit here. And we're going to measure it at around 10 inches. And then I'm just tearing it across just because I can. I'm gonna cut this down. And some of these pieces might even go into fabric flips. We'll see what happens. I know I'm kind of like rolling this, but that's because then I can get this part where I want it. Trying to make sure it's aligned to where I want it to be. This part being aligned to where I want it to be. And then I cut. I'm sure I'm going to have to cut a bit off, but try to keep the access as minimal as possible. And this would fit a couple more covers, so I put it back in the pile for covers. I'm just trying to squish it down onto that piece or glue, so hopefully it won't move around too much on us. And again, I told you this was going to happen. There's going to be excess. A lot of excess. Where, again, it's okay to cut it down. This is kind of why the fabric that I have on my Etsy is 14 by 14, to give you a little bit of space to, if it's a bigger journal or if you're doing hardcover or something like that, you'd be able to say, okay, we just need to cut it down a little bit. You're not completely wasting it, because I wanted to give you enough inches where if you decided that you'd want to add, again, a simple little piece across, you'd be able to. So there we go on that one. I'm hoping this one will fit what I need it to. Oh, yes, it will. Okay. Perfect. The way I wanted it to be. Shoot. There. And this is more like a thicker fabric, but that's okay. Again, it'll work just fine for what I'm using it for. There we go. So again, we're just going to glue it right down, if it allows us to. Again, this glue doesn't seem to keep it too sturdy, but enough where it works for me. Now I'm just trying to decide what would be good back little thing for that. Maybe some coffee dyed? I think so. So this is an old ruffle or piece for your, like, just an old piece that's all ruffled and everything. And I just coffee dyed it. Again, sometimes your best ideas come from the most interesting places. And I do my last little bit of trimming and stuff like that, again, after I sew it. I don't know, I normally just sew it, whatever I'm making, and then I go off, and when I'm done with the sewing portion of it, then I'll go off and, again, it all depends on the type of person you are and how quickly you sew it.